whether the team is giving us the highest of highs or the bluest of blues. We'll cover it all here on Commanders Nightly News. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Let's get to tonight's lead story. We got to tie up some loose ends from Wednesday night's stream. That stream was heading to epic levels. It was heading down that path of we were about to be talking about a lot of crazy shit, and it was going to be fun. We had started talking about the Commanders anthem. Haters can't stand us. Left hand up. Who are we? The Commanders. We started talking about that. And we were talking about a number of other topics. And you could see that thing was heading towards this was going to be a great night. But my stream kind of got really, really involved in the whole blackout thing, that theme that we were going with, and it blacked out. And so for those of you who have been with me for a very long time, that kind of reminded me of those Cox Cable days when my shit was not stable. I don't have these problems with Verizon. So that was really surprising to me that my internet would just go out the way that it did. I contacted Verizon. They gave me a reason as to why it happened. I can't say that I was 100% satisfied with the answer that was given, but I understand. Doesn't mean that I'm okay with it. That said, I'm back like cook crack. And because that stream ended prematurely, we missed out on some super chats that were there that were going to be read that night. And so I did my best to try to get as many of them as I could before my internet, completely went out and everything was, you could see nothing, right? Condo P, as she always does, she threw up the oop, and she had a couple that she was able to grab. And so I'll read all of those. If yours got caught in the wash, I apologize. This is all I could get my hands on, and this is all she could get her hands on. So hopefully these are all of them. But nonetheless, let's tie up loose ends from Wednesday night's stream. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, hell to the gnaw again, Lou. When that anthem came out, people from New York City and Philly clowned the ish out of me. Come on, y'all, get the F out of here. Hey, look, I feel your pain because when that thing first came out, a lot of people started atting me. And they were like, yo, is this your people? Hey, Louie, get your mans. And I'm like, whoa. Look, they're family. Those are Commanders fans. So I'm not going to, try to distance myself from them. No. That's fam, right? That's fam. But just because they're family doesn't mean I rock with that anthem, okay? Understand it. That ain't my shit, right? That's not my shit. All right, so understand I got nothing to do with that. Don't put that on me. Some people rock with it. Others want nothing to do with it. I'm good. I'll pass. So I know exactly what you're referring to. I had some of that come my way too. And there's only so much you can do, Luck, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, y'all got me. This was the biggest D's joke to date. Bank of America D's. Nah, for real though. Y'all, let's fill up this mother effing stadium and turn the F up on Sunday. We need everyone. I'm really anxious to see if we truly turn this into a blackout, or is this thing like half purple, half black, and it's not truly a blackout environment. I'm anxious to see what it turns out to be. Again, I'll do my part today. We'll have our drawing for the tickets. And so I'll do my part to put asses in seats. And wear all black, okay? If you get the tickets from me, wear all black, okay? Look, it's not a hard request. Even if it has nothing to do with the Commanders, you don't have any Commanders black gear, that's fine. Wear all black, okay? Do your part. King of the North, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. King of the North writes, left hand up is cheesy. It's fun. My kids love it. That's why people like it. Nobody thinks it's a dope song. Football anthems need to be cheesy. I don't know if football anthems need to be cheesy. They usually are cheesy, but they don't have to be. Need means they have to be. I think though the phrase you're looking for is catchy. The hook of this song, just like in any song, if you want your song to be popular, then you need a catchy hook. Something that I can remember, something that I can recite over and over again, right? Those are the most popular songs, the ones where I can actually sing the words. The hook is usually the best way to get someone's attention. That's why it's called the hook. That's how you capture them. You hook them, right? You say that one over and over again. That portion of the song, those haters can't stand us. Left hand up. Who are we? The commanders. That's catchy. You don't have to like the song. I don't. But that's catchy. I can admit that. That's not hard to remember. Miss Perry, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Miss Perry writes, like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. Y'all heard the woman. Make it happen. Thank you for the public service announcement. That applies to this video as well. So go ahead and make that happen if you haven't already done so. I greatly appreciate that. Nico Taylor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Nico writes, LT, what's up? You got the Dahmers on. So he's referring to the blue blockers that I had on during the show on Wednesday. My eyes were killing me. That was the only way I was going to be able to shoot that video. And so it's crazy because I was waiting for somebody to say something to that effect. You know, those were the style back in those days. You know, I'm a big aviator glasses type guy. And obviously Dahmer had some of those type of shades. Well, glasses. Those were his glasses. And my mom had some of those. That was more of the look in the 80s, early 90s. My mom's didn't look like his, quite like his, but she had a similar type of style. So, and a lot of people did. That was kind of the, like I said, the kind of the look back in those days. It says, TH4 got the Washington Spirit back, a.k.a. Lil Theismann. And Dan dying, I'm smoking him. Now, damn it, it feels good to be a gangster. I actually like Lil Theismann for Taylor Heineke. It actually fits him, you know, because he plays a little bit like Joe T. Obviously doesn't have all of the measurables of Joe Theismann, but does give me similar, you know, vibes. I can tell you that the Washington energy is definitely in the building. That's why I'm actually anxious to see if it translates to asses in seats on Sunday, because there's a lot of excitement around this team right now. And I don't know, you might get even more fans coming out just because they think Dan is selling. I don't know. It's crazy time right now. Kind of weird. We'll see. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Big Money Sonny writes, Lou, respectfully, I bet your shades game ain't nothing compared to mine. Outside of the designer joints, I also still rock Cazals. Do you have any? I don't have any, but I'm about to. I just ordered. It's amazing. It's funny that you just brought them up. I just ordered a raspberry pair. And so they will be here probably in the next week or two. I can't wait to get my hands on them. I'm pretty sure my collection isn't even close to yours. I mean, you live in L.A. It requires sunglasses year round. I don't, you know, so I put them on anyway, but really it's only in the spring, you know, some of the fall, but mostly just spring and summer around these parts. However, I got to get my weight up. I'm starting to. When a pair of my Versace's broke, I think in about 2 years' time, my collection is going to be where it needs to be. I might be able to give you a run for your money in about 2 years, but I'm not there yet. Give me a little bit more time. I like where I'm at, though. Jay and Gilly's Daddy 17. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, JD and the Powerpuff Girls have the same feats. You know what? That might explain why JD is always falling on the damn ground. That may explain it right there. Thank you for that. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Dan ain't selling. The clickbait all day on YouTube was ridiculous and uncalled for. Shout outs to Luck, and his nuts got called out on Rico's vid today. Maybe that's what he was referring to when he said he got the biggest D's nuts today. Interesting. I don't blame you for not believing he's selling. And until he actually sells, I'm going to be of the mindset that it's not happening. But I've already said this, and I'm trying not to allow myself, and I think that's what you're doing, Big Money Sonny. I'm trying not to allow myself to get too involved in him selling the team and allow myself to believe that it's going to happen, because I don't want to set myself up for disappointment. But, man, this is as close as we've ever been, and that's not up for debate. So I understand why people are excited, but some people are acting as if he's already sold the team. That's how hard on people are for him to sell the team, that they're already celebrating despite him not having done anything. All he did was inquire. Okay, that's all he did. But I hear you. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny writes, our odds of winning the Super Bowl are better than Snyder selling the team and getting ghosts. Let that sink in and keep it real, people. Don't get it twisted, though. I hope I'm wrong and I eat my words. I don't agree with that. I don't think our odds of winning the Super Bowl are greater than him selling the team at this point. If you would have asked me that 2 months ago, hell yeah. Our odds of winning the Super Bowl are greater than that of him selling the team. Absolutely. But as you fast forward to present day, nah, I don't think that's the case. I think this guy is really on the verge of selling this thing. So we'll see. Like you said, I hope you're wrong. King of the North, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Dan is selling. Owners want him out. That ESPN article kicked the hornet's nest. He's under 8 investigations. He's too toxic to get public money for a stadium. The team is for sale. Read the tea leaves. I think everything that you said is correct. A lot of these things have existed before, and he hasn't sold. He's been under investigation for a long time now. Like, the only thing that changes this newest federal investigation into financial improprieties, but everything remains the same. You know, I know he can't get a stadium. He's not going to get he's not going to get any public funding for a stadium. No one wants to get in bed with him with the stadium, and so he'd have to build it with his own money. Again, that's a lot of money to build a stadium. I don't think he's looking to take on that by himself, which is why I thought initially this is what he was going to Bank of America for, to help find him some minority, partners, and because he's going to need their money to help build the stadium. But who's looking to get into bed with Daniel Snyder as a minority owner? I don't think anybody's looking to do that. So, anyway, I digress. Condo P was able to snag a few for me as well. King of the North, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, why the hell would any owner, under the pressure Dan is to sell, publicly announce he's accepting bids on the team? He's sending a message to the NFL that it's over. Today's announcement was a big white flag. while that does appear to be the case, you can't say that with 100% certainty. It's still Daniel Snyder. So around the corner could be some kind of big FU that we didn't see coming. And it could be something ominous. It could be something just down dirty and dick dastardly, but that's Dan. So I wouldn't put anything past him. This could be a ploy and a tactic that he's using to keep the owners from putting a vote out on him or something like that. Hey, look, guys, I'm thinking about selling. You don't even need to put this to vote. And he can just drag his feet, and then all of a sudden it doesn't go to vote, and he's still the owner 3 years from now. I'm just saying these are things that could be happening. Just know everything that Dan does is strategically done. You may not love him, but the dude is no dummy. So I'm not telling you that that's what he's doing. He could literally just be doing it, excuse me, for the exact reason that it appears that he's doing it for, which is, hey, I'm trying to sell the team. And there may be no motive behind it other than, hey, I'm actually trying to sell the team. Who's looking to bid, right? But just know it's Dan and anything's possible. That's all I'm saying. Damn Twin Shorty Sublime. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, sorry, fam, just joining, so I'm not sure what I missed. Byron Allen, interested in bidding on team. Not sure how I feel about that. It ain't Dan, so that's a start. But Byron Allen, interesting. So I don't know if you know this or not, but Byron Allen actually put in a bid for the Denver Broncos. Obviously, he didn't get it, but he's shown interest in wanting to own an NFL team. And who wouldn't want to own an NFL team? Daniel Snyder purchased the Washington Redskins for $750 million, and he potentially could sell the Commanders franchise for $6, $7, upwards of $8 million, right? Or $8 billion, excuse me. So trust and believe this is as lucrative an investment as you can make. There are only 32 of these. They don't come available very often, which is why you see the price going up and up and up when you see teams, being bid on, because there's so many different suitors that want in because it's such a profitable business. There isn't anything quite like it. The NFL is a beast, period. And they find new ways to print money, and anybody that has the means to do so would love to get in. And Allen he's put in his bid for the Broncos, didn't get it. I wouldn't be shocked if he put in a bid for the Commanders as well. So we will see what ultimately. Remember, this is such a fertile ground here. Like this DC market, the DMV. Are you kidding me? Like, there's so much money to be made here. It's going to get really interesting as to how much Dan can fetch for this team if he decides to sell. All right, so let's get to in other news. And we heard from the coordinators, Jack Del Rio, Scott Turner. We got to take a look at the injury report. We're gaining clarity as to who's going to play. I kind of gave you my sense of what the situation was, and I've been pretty spot on this season. Give or take, 3 or 4 guys in situations. I've been pretty spot on with these injury takes all season long. So I have a sense of what's going to transpire, but we've gotten clarity, the clarity that we need to make projections for the upcoming game on Sunday. And we'll take a look at that here in a second. But before we do any of that, we actually made some roster moves, and those roster moves are very telling. And so we'll take a look at that too. But before we do that, I myself want to go ahead and do the drawing for the tickets, because I'm going to go ahead and knock that out real quick. And so we will do that right now, and we will go ahead and do the drawing for the tickets to the game on Sunday versus the Vikings. Good luck to all members of the MOBB and Patreon. Here we go. All right, so there you have it. Congratulations to my guy Joe Rockhead J. You won the tickets. If you want to go, hit me up via email or on Twitter in my DMs, and we can make the transaction happen. If you can't go, don't want to go, whatever the case may be, let me know. Then it will go to the next winner, Anthony Payron. Congratulations to you for being the runner-up. If anything should happen with Joe Rockhead J and he cannot go, you would be next in line. Again, if those first two fall through, then Daily Grind, you would be up. So those were the three that were selected. Obviously, Joe Rockhead J, you're up first. Congratulations. And looking forward. You know what it is. All right, one thing that I ask, that's it. I'm asking for two this time. All right, we're all black. Bring home the dub. You know what it is. Make it happen. So let's jump into the injury report for week number 9. And nothing here is surprising. Jahan Dotson, I told you I don't think he's playing this week. I think next week is when we get all the reinforcements against the Eagles. You get the extra day because it's a Monday night game. And I think you'll get Dotson back then. You'll get Holcomb back then. You'll get Chase Young back then. J.D. McKissick is the surprising one. He's got a neck. The beauty of it all is if he's not able to go, because I think you got Jonathan Williams back last week, you'll be fine, and you'll still have 3 backs that you're comfortable with, and so it won't be that big of a shift. David Mayo's hamstring was a problem, has been a problem, continues to be a problem, and he looks like he's not going to be able to go. All right, so all of these DMPs, they're probably not playing this week. Logan Thomas's calf limited him on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll see. He played last week. Doesn't mean he'll play this week, but I feel confident that he'll give it a go again against the Vikings on Sunday. Shaka Tony, what would be a week of Washington Commanders practice without adding a name to the list of injuries that wasn't there previous when the week started? Shaka Tony's calf pops up on Thursday's list. He's limited. Go figure, right? Jonathan Allen, Tyler Larson, Cole Turner, all full participants with various ailments. All 3 of those guys are playing. I told you that yesterday that all 3 of those guys were playing. I said, Larson's back was interesting. Wanted to see if he was full again Thursday. He is. Great. I don't have any worries about any of those guys playing on Sunday. So you go from Washington to Minnesota. I told you guys there was nothing really here to see. All of their big-time guns are going to play. Cam Bynum, he didn't even need to be mentioned here. He was out for personal reasons. Jalen Naylor, illness, still didn't practice on Thursday. Dalvin Tomlinson is interesting because he's a big run stuffer for them. He's probably not going to play this week with a calf injury. But Cam Dantzler has been limited with the neck. I think he's going to play. Zadarius Smith, I was hoping we could get a break. Nope, no such luck. He was full on Thursday. He's leading the league in sacks with 8.5 right now. He's a handful. Scott Turner talked about having to account for him. We'll talk about that in a second. And Adam Thielen, knee full, go Wednesday and Thursday. He's going to play as well. So, speaking of Scott Turner, and you know what? Before we get to that, here's some moves Washington made. All right. We have made the following roster moves. Elevated linebacker Dejon Harris from the practice squad and signed linebacker Nathan Gary to the practice squad. So what these 2 moves in effect tell you is that we have some issues at linebacker, which that's not surprising to anybody. That's not a stretch. We already were thin at the position with no injuries. Now you've got Cole Holcomb and David Mayo both injured. So this tells you that Cole isn't playing this week, or you're not going to have the services of David Mayo this week. That's why they're elevating Dejon Harris from the practice squad to the active. And that's why you're having another linebacker take his spot on the practice squad as well. So we're hurting at linebacker. Big time hurt at linebacker. But again, just like everywhere else, reinforcements are on the way. We just got to wait. They're coming, hopefully, as soon as next week. So what did we hear from the coordinators? Start with Jack Del Rio. He talked about, Chase Young, obviously. Said he looks good, looks spry. Looks like the same old Chase. He got, Jack, you get some smiles from Jack. You get a couple of laughs from Jack. And, they tried to ask for some specific stuff from past games. Jack really wasn't, interested in giving them any of that, which he never does. They wanted to know because we played a lot of 5-man defensive front against Indy because we were expecting a lot of run. And, he's like, every week is game plan specific to that team we're playing that week. So, it is what it is. But he talked about Chase and, the excitement for him to come back and join that defensive line. Jack can't wait, you can tell. But, obviously he has to wait. But, he talked about Justin Jefferson. It was funny because Jack's not going to give you anything extra. They asked him, what makes Justin Jefferson such an elite receiver? And he's like, he's big, he's fast, athletic, great route runner, great hands, can separate, all of that good stuff. That's what you get from Jack, right? Like, you can say that about any receiver in the NFL. And so it's like a blanket statement. He didn't give any one thing that separates Justin Jefferson. He just threw a blanket over it, We got our work cut out for us, though. Between Jefferson, Thielen, I've already mentioned this already. They added T.J. Hockenson, obviously Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison in the backfield. We got our work cut out for us. KJ Osborne, they got a lot of stuff, man. So Jack knows he's going to have to figure it out. They asked him about William Jackson. He's like, yeah, I'm going to defer to coach on that one. But it didn't work out, essentially. They asked him about how Benjamin St. Juste is playing on the outside, and he said he's playing well and yada, yada, yada. So not a lot from Jack, right? Then you get to Scott, and Scott talked about Zadarius Smith. They asked him about, them moving Zadarius Smith around and how he is able to affect the game from multiple spots on the field. Last week, one of their, methods was to put him over the center, and he dominated against Arizona. And so he's like, yeah, we're going to have a plan for him, and we got to account for him on every single snap. And he's not the only one you have to account for with that Vikings defense, and Scott kind of laid that out. But he talked about, getting a bit creative. I wanted that same question that was thrown to Ron. I wanted that question to be thrown to Scott. And maybe it did because, a lot of times with these pressers, they'll edit it so you'll only see certain parts unless you watch it live, right? Which I usually don't. So they'll edit out the stuff that they don't want in there. I wanted somebody to ask him the same question that Ron was asked on Monday about having more time versus having a regular work week and some of the best, performances by this offense have come on weeks where we've had more time to prepare. And, is there any validity to, you not having as much creativity when you have less time? I would have loved to have seen someone, throw that kind of question at him. But nonetheless, he talked about third downs again, which they've been a problem, continue to be a problem. And, I watched the film. It's one thing here, one thing there. He talked about a block here, a block there. He talked about Trey Turner and how well he played in the game. Hence he's probably going to be the starter moving forward again. But the screen game continues to be a problem. You know, there are different things you can point to that are problematic for this offense that he's got to find a way to circumvent. I don't think he's done a good enough job of doing that. You know, that said, yeah, it really wasn't much to glean from either one of the coordinators. So, with that said, we're going to go ahead and go behind enemy lines and take a look at the Minnesota Vikings. So, look, this is a Vikings football team that's scoring pretty much 25 points per game. And we're scoring, you know, closer to 18 points a game. Like, if you're not going to score in this game, you're not going to win, right? We can't expect to win this game 17-16. You're going to have to score in the 20s like you did against Green Bay. And really, preferably, you need to score more than 23 points because the Vikings, I don't know if they've had a game. I know they beat Miami and it wasn't that high scoring of a game, but I'm going to look right now. I don't think they've had many games where they didn't score more than 24 points. They've been a pretty consistent offense this season. 23 in week 1, 27 against the Eagles. That's the one loss. They've won 5 in a row. Somebody's streak has to end. We've won 3 in a row. They've won 5 in a row. They scored 28 against the Lions, 28 against the Saints, 29 against the Bears, 24 against the Vikings, 34 against the Cardinals. So this is a team that's routinely scoring right in that 20, 28 to 24 point range. So if not for that week 2 loss to the Eagles where they only scored 7 points, they'd probably be averaging close to 30 points a game. They've been that consistent this season, putting up points. So if you think you're going to score 17 and win this game, you're sadly mistaken. They've only had one game this season, and that's the loss to the Eagles, where they haven't scored 23 or more points. So we're going to have to score points. That's number one. And you'd love to say, well, let's just hold them down and bring them to our level. Easier said than done when you're playing up against Indianapolis or Chicago or a struggling Packers team. Yeah, you can hold those teams down and drag them down. But remember, the Packers were averaging just as many points as we were on the season. Bears, just started scoring points. They hadn't been scoring a ton of points either. Same can be said for the Colts. Colts are averaging 16 points this season. So we played teams that fit into the narrative that we needed them to fit into to give us a chance to win. This Vikings team doesn't fit into that narrative. They're not going to play in a low-scoring game in the high teens or in the low 20s. They're going to be in the mid to high 20s, okay? If we can't go there with them, don't expect to win this game. We're going to have to score points in this game. We're going to have to sustain offense. We're going to have to score touchdowns. Zadarius Smith, 8.5 sacks, leads the NFL along with a couple of other guys. He's a problem right now. We're going to have to find a way to block Zadarius Smith because right now he's on a tear. And we're going to have to get to him. We're going to have to find a way to protect. You don't want to go too far where where you're keeping in some of your eligibles, but at the same time, you don't want him wrecking shop. So that's something else to keep in mind. But you look at the Vikings right now, they're converting third downs at a 40% clip. So that's pretty much league average right around. Got to find a way to get off the field on third downs against them. They are right now one of the better passing teams in the league. And Cousins, despite the offensive line being an issue at times, he hasn't been sacked a whole hell of a lot this season, So that's something else to keep in mind. Like, we got to get to Cousins, but they're not giving up a ton of sacks, are the Vikings this year, you know? So there are a lot of things that you look at with this team in Minnesota, and it's just really hard for me to see where the advantage for Washington comes. It just, it's going to be tough. We're going to have to play sound football. We can't beat ourselves. Can't have the penalties. Can't be in third and long. Got to find a way to convert. Got to take advantage of opportunities when they come. Got to tackle. Can't. The explosives. Yeah, the Vikings are one of the most explosive teams in the league because of Justin Jefferson. We got nobody to guard him. Nobody. And so, if there's one thing that should scare you shitless in this game, is Justin Jefferson. Doesn't matter where he lines up, left side, right side, slot. He's going to be a mismatch nightmare for us. So, I don't know. It's going to be rough. And then Dalvin Cook is playing good football. He's been healthy for the most part this year. He did have the shoulder injury, but he's playing through it. But he's been playing well for them. And so this adds another element to that offense. To me, if you're going to have an opportunity to beat them, you're going to have to stop him first so that they don't have the crutch of the run game and the balance that they love. Because Kevin O'Connell is a Shanahan disciple. You know, he comes from that tree, right? He was here in Washington with McVay and all of those guys and Kyle and all of them. So he comes from that same tree. So they believe in balance. They believe in running the football to set up play action fake and then drive the football down the field. So if you stop that and you make them one-dimensional, you force Kirk Cousins to have to beat you, you then put yourself in a position that, well, maybe he'll make a mistake or two. Maybe we can get pressure on him. But you got to stop Dalvin Cook. And they love to run outside zone. They love to run off tackle. So a lot of pitches in this offense. We're not a great run-stopping perimeter football team. So that, again, another one of those situations where you just look and you go, doesn't really bode well for us. But what can you do? What can you do? Not much. So anyway, tomorrow or today, we'll have the keys to the game. We'll get to the game plan, and I'll give you my prediction for the game. I'm excited about this one. I'm juiced up. I'm charged up. But anyway, I digress. I'm feeling so much better. Thank you for all of the well wishes, all of the kind words. I appreciate all of those. I don't know what the hell happened to my body yesterday. It's another one of those times, bro. You're getting old. You know, you don't bounce back the way you used to. So I gotta, sometimes certain things are very humbling. Getting sick is one of them. It's very humbling because I pride myself on being pseudo Superman, right? Can perform through anything. I'm tired. I can push through. I can sleep on the weekend. I'll be fine. And my wife, bless her heart, she's the better half. She's like, babe, you need to rest. You can get the videos done later. You need to rest. And I'm like, I'll rest later. And my body was like, bro, you should listen to her. And I was like, you shut up. I got this. And he's like, okay. His ass completely shut down on me last night. Like, I felt like garbage. And I'm like, what are we doing? We already went through this process already with the flu. Like, you shouldn't be doing this anymore. We don't go backwards in the recovery process. You don't relapse with the flu. It runs its course. You get better. you move on. I needed to sleep. That's what it was. I needed to sleep. Felt so much better this morning. So I'll be looking to get some sleep over the weekend, but I appreciate y'all. I did watch the Eagles game, start to finish. I was shocked the Texans gave them a run for their money the way that they did, but Eagles are 8-0 now. I hate the fact that they're getting an extra 3 days. Then they get the extra day because it's a Monday night game to prepare for us. Like, that's dumb. Get everybody healthy that needs to be healthy. Got all this extra time, but look, it is what it is. I ain't complaining. Schedule is what it is. Bottom line is, they're undefeated. When we play them, they'll be undefeated. And why not us? Why can't we be the team to knock them off? I feel like we're in a position to do that. But we can't talk about the Eagles first. We got the Vikings in front of us. Take care of the food that's on your plate first before you ask for seconds. I plan on doing that on Sunday. So that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on Commanders Nightly News. I look forward to chopping it up with you guys on Friday or today as we get into the game plan and the prediction for Sunday's contest against the Vikings. Blackout. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.
Here comes the diesel. Here comes the diesel. There's the snap, hand to Riggins. Good hold. He's got the first down to the 40. He's gone. The 30.